Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Creatively Miss Me YouTube Tips and More, where I try to make YouTube a little bit easier. So, we're talking about time management, and I'm going through different aspects of time management because I found from some friends of mine that they weren't managing their time and they had trouble getting the YouTube videos out or anything that they were doing out on time and trying to be ahead. So I'm hoping that these little lessons that I teach each week are helpful to someone out there in YouTube land. So now we're going to jump into tonight's episode and I'm going to share my lesson that we did pre recorded. So here we go. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about transforming your skills with consistent practice. So if you're interested in learning more, you know what to do. Stick around. Tonight's sponsor is $5 Jewelry Paradise, where your independent consultant is Terry Donald. Now, I have the link for all the information down below. So when you go, tell her Stephanie sent you. Hello, everyone. I am Stephanie of Creatively Miss Me, YouTube Tips and More, where I try to make YouTube a little bit easier for the beginner and the more seasoned YouTuber. Today, we're still on time management. Now, I'm working on a whole series. What it's going to be is 12 to, I think it's 14, maybe 15 episodes. But it's all about time management, different aspects of time management as far as YouTube is concerned. So today, we're going to home in on that being consistent with practice. So let's jump on into that topic. Join me as I put the saying, practice makes perfect, to the test. When you think about achieving success in your area of your life, one phrase that always comes to mind is practice makes perfect. It's a reminder that getting better at something takes time, effort, and dedication. Regardless of whether you're trying to master a new language, or improve your athletic skills, or even cook that perfect dish. The idea is that the more you practice, the closer you get to achieving your goals. One of the biggest struggles people face when trying to improve themselves is staying motivated. Now, I can contest to that one because I have that problem. You start strong, but as the days go by, your enthusiasm begins to dwindle. You might start to question whether all this hard work is even worth it. Never stop exploring. There's always something new at the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Another challenge is consistency. It's easy to make excuses to put off your practice session until tomorrow, or the day after, or never. You have to be honest with yourself and admit that procrastination is a significant obstacle to progress. Many people get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. They expect to see a significant improvement overnight, and when it doesn't happen, they give up. Moreover, a lack of feedback or guidance can also hinder progress. Without a clear understanding of what you're doing wrong or right, it's hard to make adjustments and move forward. I've personally struggled with these challenges. I have. But I've also seen the power of practice in my own life. I remember when I first started creating content online, I was terrible and I knew it, but I didn't let that stop me. I kept practicing, I kept creating, I kept pushing myself to improve. It wasn't easy, and there were many times I wanted to give up, but I didn't. But it paid off. I started to see content resonating with people, and that motivated me to keep going. There are countless stories of successful individuals who give credit to their success to practice. The key is to focus on the process, not the outcome. And that's something I still struggle with today. When I realized what my parents would say, practice makes perfect, I was working on a project that required me to learn a new software, and I was struggling. I felt like I was getting nowhere and I was about to give up. But then I had a breakthrough. I realized that I wasn't practicing consistently, and that was the reason I wasn't seeing any progress. So I made a commitment to myself to practice every day, no matter what. And honey, it worked. I started seeing the growth, and it motivated me to keep going. That experience taught me that practice is not just about putting the time. It's about being consistent, being patient, and being persistent. The takeaway from all of this is that practice is the key to achieving success. You know, there's no quick fix to reach your goal. This is something you have to make a habit. Now, if you do something for 6 weeks, it becomes a habit. Remember, it's the daily habit, the small actions you take every day that add up to make significant difference in the long run. What's an area in your life where you're struggling to practice consistently? You know what that is. Now, I want to thank you for watching. And if you have any other tips that you think that would be helpful to other creators, please share them in the comment section below. You know I enjoy reading your comments. And also, if you have any questions, please just ask me and I'll help you as much as I can. I hope this video on practice for success was helpful. If you're interested in learning more, check out the other videos in the series. The links will be down below. Now, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it, and hit that subscribe and notification button. And don't forget to follow me on my other social media accounts. The links are listed. Now, let's stop talking and let's get into the chat. Well, hello, everyone. Now, I am a total witness of procrastination. I got to the point where I was putting things off so far and so far and so far that a collaboration will pop up and be the next day. So here I am running to put everything together, to get it filmed, get it edited, and get up. Sometimes I wouldn't do it to the day of. I had got really bad. So I told myself that I needed to find another way. I needed to practice to be consistent. I needed to work more on organization and getting things done. So that's why I always push practice makes perfect. You keep going. If you ever see my if you see my video I did on my breakfast nook, the very first one that I did, the camera was horrible. The sound on it was horrible. The camera made so much noise till it was just not even worth it. What did Denise say? She says, I've been trying to make sure I take thumbnails for my videos before I film the video. I often forgot it and then it's difficult. Yes. What I started doing, Denise, myself, is while I'm filming, if it's something like a cleaning video, I'll take a picture of it before I start. Then I take a picture of it when I'm finished. And then I try to pick out which one I'm using, and then I may use, before and after shots. And if I'm doing like a tablescape or something, I try to home in on a place setting so you can see the place setting, and then maybe you'll be interested. I'm really trying to do better with my thumbnails, and even on this channel here on YouTube Tips and More, the thumbnails, I think, are improving. At first, I had a picture of me and it was the same background, the same picture, and I just changed the words. And then somebody told me that it was kind of redundant. So I started changing it up and using different pictures and different backgrounds. And I think the thumbnails look better now. But I did also notice that with me changing the thumbnails, that my old thumbnails brought in more views than these. So, but in I use vidIQ to rate my videos, my thumbnails, and so forth. They give my new thumbnails a higher rating than my old thumbnails. So who knows? So I said I was going to give it a chance to see which thumbnails really bring in more views. But I really get on here and my goal is to help new or beginners and seasoned YouTubers, because sometimes you may be on here, you may be seasoned, you may be on here for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and there's still some things you haven't learned about YouTube. And so when I find that and I see some friends asking questions, so I try to do the videos here to answer those questions. And that's why I've been doing time management. Now, on today's episode, as you saw, today was number 7 out of 12. So I've been trying to show different ways of time management, little things that you may have not paid attention to that also help with time management, organization, getting your set up, batch filming, things like that, and how to, like I did one episode where I shared batch filming and how I plan my batch filming and how I use my forms when I do a video, a checklist to make sure everything is right so I can sit down and do videos. Now, on me, like today, I made up faces door, faces door. Now, this look, before this show went live, I sat here and I did my lessons for I think 5 videos for healthy tips and more. Well, creatively Miss Me, healthy tips and more. I think I did 5 before the show went live. So I sit here and I read my scripts and I do my scripts one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and get me ahead. Right now on healthy tips and more, I think I'm in. Let me pull up my Excel sheet because I don't want to lie, because I'm always saying that, practice makes perfect, which it does. And let's see, let me get over here and let's share this screen because I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, now this is my spreadsheet I do for my videos. Okay, hold on, let me get this thing right so I can be where I want to be. Okay, here is a spreadsheet that I use. These are all my topics for my videos, all the topics, the description, the hashtags, and this here is my hook that I put on the flyer for advertisement. Now, as you see here, I have thumbnails. I already checked if I already have the thumbnail. Now, I already have my thumbnails done till December. I have all the thumbnails done for these new videos. Now, right here, I put recorded. Now, this is July's videos, August, September's, October's. Now, the day I did down to here on healthy tips and more. So healthy tips and more, the videos are recorded but not edited, all of July's and all the way down to October. So all I'll be doing is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I edit. So I'll go in and I edit all of these videos. I just pick them and go and start editing them. And then once I've edited them, here I have script edited. I'll go in and I check that it has been edited so I know to move on. Now I do that same thing with YouTube tips and more. Let me make sure this screen is shared. Let me go and stop that sharing and open up the next screen. This one. Yeah. Okay, also with YouTube tips and more, I have all my topics that I'm going to do till the second week in January. And I have all the time set up that they go out for advertisement. Same thing, I have the description, the hashtags, and the hooks. Okay? So practice makes perfect as far as me getting my brain right so I can have these things done. Now, as you see here, these two are already edited. But I do have my thumbnails already ready down to January. They're already done. Now, these are already recorded, but they haven't been edited. I still have these scripts have been written to January, but I haven't recorded me reading them. So those I have to record those all the way down to January. So probably Wednesday, Tuesday or either Thursday, I will sit down and I most likely will read August to November and have those ready to go. Knowing me, I'll probably try to shoot for January. I'll sit here and I'll read script after script after script until I get them all recorded. Then I can take my time as far as editing them. I can make sure that I get all of July edited and all of August so I can be ahead. That's just the weird things that I do. What did you say, Denise? You said, I've been using checklists to keep me on track. I'll have a productive checklist and I can just go down the list and mark off what I've done and or still. Yes, that's what helps me stay ahead. I use the forms that I have to do my videos where I put all my topics in, like you just saw. Then, if I'm going to do my forms, I print off my forms, which I do have some laying here on the desk. I was working on one earlier. Where is it? Is this it? I was working on a form earlier, printing out some things because I know I need to jump ahead. Those are my labels. Here they are. Now, I have my forms and I do my videos and my checklist, my badge filming and all of that. And I have my topics on what I'm going to do so I can go ahead and jump on it. Now, what I'll do is once, because I have them already printed off, what I do is I print off about I want to say about a month's worth at one time. And then that way I have on my clipboard downstairs for decorating on the budget. So downstairs is a clipboard on my bar on the counter top that shows everything that I have to do downstairs that's regarding me um doing decorating on the budget, because everything for decorating on the budget is done downstairs. But Healthy Tips and More and YouTube Tips and More is me doing basically voiceovers, or I may cook. And if I cook, I do downstairs. And if I'm walking, of course, I go walking. What did you say, Denise? You said, I took your suggestion and took a day to just shoot pictures that I could use as thumbnails. I got my hair and makeup, changed clothes 3 times, and it went well. I have a lot. Yes, that works. It helps so much when you sit there and you pick a day that you make up, you pick out your shirts or dresses or whatever you're going to change into, and you just sit there and smile. Click, 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 pose, click, click, click. Because what I do is I write down the titles of the videos that I'm going to be doing. And then if I have something in my head that I want to do as a pose, I write it next to the title of the video. For say like today is practice makes perfect. What if I wanted to do showing me just doing something over and over again and have it, like several pictures. So I would sit and do one pose. Then I would do the next pose and the next pose, and I would make that one picture. So it's all about you thinking about what your video title is. Thinking about your title, as Sean Kendall says, get your title before you record. That way you have in mind what you're shooting about and you have your idea of your thumbnail. That's why when I just shared with you, all of my thumbnails are done because I went through and I sat down and I said, okay, Stephanie, you need to get your topics ready for time management. And what are your topics going to be about? And I wrote down all my topics and I did my research to see how many people did something on this subject. And I wrote down all of that. I got my descriptions, I got my hashtags, I got my hooks. I wrote all of that down and I got it in my spreadsheet. Now, with me sometimes having insomnia because of perimenopause, that gives me something to do when I'm sitting up there and can't sleep. I have my laptop in the room with me and I just sit up and I start working. Idea, 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 idea. And I get it done. What did you say, Denise? Let's see, working on my water. bath canning course. Oh, I captured a bunch of images related to canning and me can. Yes, I want to see that because my mother used to can and I was never interested in it. And then I was thinking the other day that I really would like some strawberry preserves. And I'm like, man. Or my mom used to do those blackberry preserves. I used to love that. And that's something I wished I'd have picked up from her and, could be able to share that with my grandchildren because I think they will like that. They like the natural stuff. And I think that'd have been something I wish I could have got from my mom. But I try to make the videos on this channel very informative and very helpful for beginners and more seasoned YouTubers because you're never too old to learn something new. You could been on YouTube 12 years and learn something new. So I always try to keep up with different things. And when I learn something new or find out about something that's coming out, I try to make sure I share it with you all. So you'll notice like I know. So we'll know what's coming up and what we need to keep an eye on and what we need to stop doing or what we need to change to get things going with our channels because there's enough room for everybody on here to grow. It shouldn't be a jealousy or a battle about you getting my viewers. It shouldn't be that way because there's so many people on here that everybody should be willing to help their friends, to help somebody else. And so I always try to be one that reaches and helps the next person. She says, I'll let you know when it's ready. I hope to go live by the 15th. Cool, cool. Let me know because I want to see. I do want to see. Now, also to you ladies on here, I do a series on my third channel. Yes, my third. Creatively Miss Me, Healthy Tips and More. I'm talking about perimenopause and menopause. And I'm talking about the symptoms and things that you could do to help ease those symptoms. Now, so far, I think I'm up to lesson number, I think 5, I think, or 6, I think. But I'm doing it on perimenopause and menopause symptoms. I did do the first initial video where they have a list of 34, but I found 38. But I was watching another lady the other day and she found 100. Yeah. And some of the things that I was going through that I didn't realize was perimenopause. So I think this is going to be helpful to you if you're going through perimenopause right now. That jumping on my channel, Healthy Tips and More, Creatively Miss Me, Healthy Tips and More, I think it would be helpful to you and beneficial. So, but back to time management. It's very important to organize and get yourself set up so you can be ahead. I don't want you to be like I was. Uh, I had sticky notes everywhere trying to keep up with everything, and I wasn't doing it very well. I would be filming a video for a collaboration the day of sometime, or sometime it would be that night before I'm trying to get up and run and do it and get it together. That's how bad I was until I told myself I needed to get better. I needed to find a system. I needed to practice. If you see my, you know what? Where is that video? Let me go to that channel because, guys, if y'all, that video is, oh my goodness, it is horrible, guys. It is horrible. And I was going to take it down, but I said I leave it up because I wanted to show that practice does make perfect. And if you keep going, that, you will improve as your day goes. You keep making videos, you still keep, monitoring yourself, then you see the improvement in yourself. So let me go to my content and I want to go to this video. And I'm going to share with y'all this video. Y'all will crack up when you hear this video. Let me open it. Okay, let me get you guys where I am. Let me see. I'm going to share the screen. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you here. Let's see. This is where I want. Yeah, this is what I want to share with you guys. If y'all see this video, I want you to listen to the sound on this video. I'm gonna pass up all because this is when my intro was 20 years long. You hear the sound? Now that video has so much noise in it that it was ridiculous. See, what are you saying here? Denise said, the nice thing about putting together a checklist is I could look to see what I need to do next and not spin my wheels. Yes, it saves a lot of time. You are so right. Uh Denise is saying hello to Wendy. Performance issues. Okay, I'm gonna knock that off. Um, it's been a while since I've seen her. Yes. And then Wendy says, I'm well. How have you been? Speaking to Denise. And glad to be able to. I'm so glad you're here too. I hadn't seen you on in a while. But that first video, I tell you, the sound was horrible. The camera sucked. I bought this little bitty square cheap camera thinking that this camera was going to be the be all of all. Oh my goodness. It made so much noise that the next one I did, I tried to do it with that one again and do something with the sound and it still didn't work. And I end up doing my next videos with my phone. So as you grow, you learn, you improve. Practice makes perfect. So after seeing that video and listening to the sound, I was horrified. So I wanted to improve and make sure my videos didn't have all that noise that was in that first video. So I worked really hard to try to learn new techniques, the new things to do with your phone, propping my phone up until I was able to get a tripod. Then I got this little cheap tripod off of Amazon and I still use my phone and trying to figure out how to do intros and outros and cover sheets. All that stuff was like foreign to me. And I tried asking people and some of them, if you pay me, I'll help you. If you pay me, I'll tell you. And it was like, come on, I'm just trying to figure this out. Can you give me a little help? They would not help. So as time went on, and I started paying attention to other YouTubers and taking some courses, I started learning new things on how to put things together. That's why I always try to be helpful. I always want to help the next person. If this little bit of time that I spend on here sharing something that I've learned, if it helps just one person, I feel good about that because I didn't get that help. And I want to be there for anyone who needs the help. And if anyone has any questions or anything they want to learn or know about, I am here. If I know how to do it, I will share it with you because I think we should help one another. That's how I feel. I feel that we should always be there to help the next person. Even though some of us get too big where we think that if I help you, you're going to try to steal some of my subscribers. I think that's really silly. I really do. She says, "Girl, if you ever saw my first video, oh my goodness, I do try to level up." Yes, like Sean Kimball says, each video go up, try to improve 1%. 1%. Now, what I did was, which I noticed last week in my recorded lesson, and I noticed today, I have a light behind me, and I didn't notice until the other last week that when I would move, that light would be dong in your faces. And I didn't catch that when I was recording it. So today I have moved the light to a different area, so I still don't get that shadow behind me like I did not want. So I still don't get the shadow, but when I move, the light is not there either to get in you guys' eyes. So 1% each time you see something you need to improve, you improve it. And like on my checklist, when I do something on my checklist that, what you say, Denise? She said, "This is silly. What's for you? You's right. What's for you is for you. Just because you help me doesn't mean I'm going to steal some of your people. That's special." But I tried to improve my checklist. Now, like I saw the light, so I put that on my list. You need to place that light somewhere else. And so that's one of the things on my list. I move the light. So I also try to make sure that I keep my mics close to my mouth so that you'll be able to understand me and hear me when I talk. I also did the thing where you do head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So your head is straight, shoulders back, your knees are pointed straight. So when you sit in the chair, because if you don't pay attention, if your knees are going somewhere else, your body turns that way too. So you have to try to keep your knees pointed in the direction of the camera so that you are facing the camera. I also always said that, like with my glasses, that light right there, I need to raise it higher because I don't like that glare in my glasses. That's the only one that glares, and I need to fix that. I thought I moved it, but I didn't. I moved that one, but I didn't move this one. So those are little things that I look for. What she says? She says, "Your lighting looks beautiful. Your face is very well." Thank you. Thank you, Denise. I tried to, one of the things that I've been working on is trying to get those in, a good spot so I don't have so much of glare on my glasses. But I also too, like someone asked me about my head wrap. Well, perimenopause and alopecia are not my friend. So they're messing with the sister's hair right now. So my hair is partially done. But hopefully I can finish it this week. But my life has been lifing, so I haven't had the opportunity to finish. But we have a lot to do. I have a lot going on with my husband's health and my dad's health. I realized yesterday that they both have an appointment on the same day, an hour apart. And one is, if you're familiar with Houston, one is in Kingwood and one is downtown. Now it takes me an hour to 2 hours in the morning traffic to get my husband downtown for his appointment. So there's no way possible I can get my dad to his appointment an hour later. Yeah. Let's see. I need to get a boom for the kitchen, something to help track the sound. But Denise, if you use that mic that you have that we talked about that you were getting, if you need help setting up that mic, call me and we can play with it. We can also come online here where it's just me and you privately, and that we can play with it until you get it working with your phone or camera, whichever one you're using. Because I don't want you to waste the money that you paid for the mic and not be able to use it. Because I have a lapel mic that I started wearing again when I go walking. And then I have one that is a long cord. That was my first one. I still use that one sometimes when I plug it in here or I plug it into the phone. But I also have another one that I clip on me. As I have two that clip on me. So one I like more than the other. But I do have mics in here. I have this one that my husband purchased me, and then I have the snowball. Wait, let me put it over here. The snowball one. I love this one here. I love this mic. This mic is very clear when I do voiceovers. I love that mic. But if you call me, Denise, we can work with that mic. So that way you can charge it up the night before, clip it on your clothes, and go. You can do this. I know you can do this. I think it's easier than you think to set up. So just call me and we'll work with it. What was I finna say? I'm finna say. Oh, I was, I had the knee issue. Well, I got the cortisone shot in my knee and it wore off like 2 weeks before, almost 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks before my next appointment. So I had to stop walking because it was starting to bother me. Well, I got approved for the gel injection, and that is Friday. So this coming Friday, I'm going in and they're going to do the gel, put the gel injection in my knee, and that's supposed to last a year. So keep me in your prayers that it works fine because I really want to get back into my walking. And I'm hoping I'm not making a mistake by doing the gel injection. But life is life and over here on Life Lane. But I think the organization of it all and doing your checklist and practicing doing your checklist. Now, also in my description, I have a link to the checklist for videos. So you can do that. You can download it. It's free. I have the one for videos and the one for batch filming. It is free. All you gotta do is download if you want to use it. I don't care. I just want you to be organized. I want you to have a checklist where you can go through and put everything you need for a video. Because I print mine off when like I said, I have all my video topics and all that ready for the year. I busted my butt to try to get myself ahead so that I wouldn't be so behind like I was last year. So I have a system now. So in October, I start planning for the next year come October. That includes my newsletters and all. I have 3 channels, ladies. So I plan all 3 channels from October. I started in October and I started planning for the next year on all 3 channels. So by the time January comes, I have January through June already topics, descriptions, all that done. And with me having this new system I'm using, most likely come December, I'll have the whole next year plan. Descriptions, um, hashtags, and hooks and thumbnails ready. That's my goal. That's a goal. Now we don't, life is life, and you don't always get to do like you want. But at least I'm trying to be ahead enough times that if something goes on with me, health wise, that I still have content going out and I won't have to stress on trying to get it done. Let's see, Denise says that's what I need to do. My husband got it set up one time, but I haven't been able to get it to work since. Just call me. It's probably just using an app, and it's probably a very simple app. Just call me. I will do my search on. Let me write that name down so I can look it up and make sure that I know what I'm talking about. D girl, what's a D? J-I mini. I remember you showed me this one time. So I'm gonna look it up and make sure that I know how to work it. So when you call me, we can get it working with you, be it your phone or your camera. Because my mics that I have, I can plug it into my camera or my phone. And normally with the little mic I clip on is normally on my phone. But then like my camera, I have a boom mic that's attached to my camera, so I don't do that mic there. But versatile. I can do both. So again, practice, 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 practice. Even if you're doing it just to help yourself, you can set it up and record yourself doing something just to practice. You don't have to put it out there for everybody to see. You can practice on yourself sitting, standing, sitting, setting up. You can do all of that because it took me a while to get to the point where when I get ready to record, I print off my list, my checklist, and then if I'm doing a tablescape, like at one point, I have this fold out big black table. And if I'm doing several tablescape ideas, I have all the dishes I set out the day before if I'm doing more than 4.
At one time I did 7 in one day. That was crazy. But anyway, what I did was I set the folding table out. I picked out all the plates, the placemats, the saucers, the napkins, the napkin rings, the glasses, the flatware, the centerpieces. I did it all. And I set them in the order. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. And I set everything out in order. And I will put it the way you put it on the table. I have the table runner, the charger plates, the dessert plates, and then the napkins and napkin rings will be together. The flatware and the glasses and the centerpiece will be right at the front. And this was all on this table lined up. So what I did was after I would do a video, I set up my lights, I set up my camera. I would do the intro, set the table, take my pictures, stop the camera, clean off the table, do it again. Same thing. Everything is right there. It made it so easy. So when I finished one tablescape, I would go to the next. I would go to the next. But I set all this up the day before. Because if I do the day of, I will always forget something. So the day before or the night before, I set everything out that I'm going to use for the next day's videos. That way, when I get up the next day and I say, okay, I'm going to put a face on, I'm going to dress up, I'm going to do this. I have my clothes picked out. If I'm going to wear makeup, I got what color eyeshadow I plan on wearing. Like eyeshadow here, you see it matches this and the shirt. Yes. I take my makeup idea and I set my eyeshadow palette out on the table. So I know this is what I'm going to use in the morning. So I set everything out the night before. So when I get up the next day and I said, okay, I have 7 videos I'm going to do today. Everything is ready. The battery's on the charger. The memory card's already downstairs, sitting there ready to go. And the lights are set up for wherever I'm going to be at. Everything is ready. So all I have to do is get up, get dressed, do my face if I'm going to do a face, and get downstairs. And then I turn the camera on and say hello to everyone. And I go. And sometimes what I do is I don't stop the camera. I just move it to the new spot if I'm going to a new room. I move it. Like if I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to the breakfast area. I just pick it up and move it to the breakfast room and I just keep going. What did Denise say? She says, I've been trying to clear my SD card the night before, plan my clothes, and I have scripts already prepared the day of. The sun gets in the way. I'm trying to follow. What, Denise, I always, like now, I showed you, all my scripts are ready for all my videos. I started seeing that me trying to do something Monday through Friday was wearing me out. So what I started doing is on Tuesdays is film and editing. Either I'm filming something or I'm editing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays, all day Wednesday, all I do is read my scripts. Now, if I have written a script or I haven't written a script, then I sit there on Monday nights when I'm sitting there doing nothing. I go over my scripts. Fridays, that's if I have something that I think I want to do just pop up in my mind, then I'll go ahead and I work on that. But generally, since I've moved my days of recording and script voiceovers to certain days of the week, I get more accomplished. And like on Sundays, when like I get ready for this show, I do makeup. I sit here and I record. Last week, well, the week before, I recorded 8 scripts before the show started. Then after the show was over, I did 3 more. So I don't waste my makeup. This NARS is pricey. So when I put on NARS, I'm going to use NARS. I'm going to do as many videos as I can when I put on my face. Now, my SD card for my camera is 1 terabyte. Now, I have a video I just recently recorded where I'm showing my storage stuff, and I'm going to share that sometime during the week after I edit it. I have my storage things here. portable drives. This is 1 terabyte. Now I keep all my videos stored on those storage things. Well, one of them I noticed was in the red. It was almost full. So I had to go buy something else. So what did you say, Stacy? You said question, do either of you ever feel robotic? You know what, Stacy? At first when I started doing scripts, I did feel like a robot because I feel like I was talking like one. So I had to start relaxing and just know that the script I'm writing, and at first I was trying to be too technical. And there's a prime example of it on my third channel, Healthy Tips and More. When I first started talking about perimenopause and menopause, the first couple episodes are so robotic. And I was like, okay, Stephanie, snatch it up. Because I started working more with scripts. And I was seeing that it was helping me some. But then as I got more into it, and I started, okay, you need to quit being so technical and just write it like you're talking to your girlfriend. So I think episodes 4, 3, 4, and on, I think, or more relaxed. They're not so script. And so forth. I've been doing the changes with this channel as well, trying to make it where I'm not so robotic, but I am reading from my teleprompter. The teleprompter I use is on the screen. Let's see. She says, no, Stacey, you just have to use your regular voice and you don't have to say it word for word. Just, yeah. I sometimes when I write my script and I write it technical, I go back in and proofread and I mark out, change the wording, change the way I said it. So when I read it, it's basic. It's just like me talking to my girlfriend. I try not to be so technical because that can be boring. So I try to make it where like I'm talking to a friend and explaining something to a friend. That's what I've been really working on and trying to improve on me doing scripts. Now, like I said, I have all my scripts written for YouTube Tips and More to January, and Healthy Tips and More. I think all the scripts are written till, let me look, I won't lie. Healthy Tips and More. My scripts are written all the way to December. Yeah. On Healthy Tips and More, all the scripts are already written to January, the second Wednesday in January. But I haven't recorded them. And that's why I set days to do that, where I sit here with a drink and I start to record. What did you say? The script could be bullet points. They don't have to be completely written. Yes, they don't have to be complete in words. Some topics I do bullet points, and then others I do where I do a script and I go in and I make it where it's a conversation. Because a lot of times some scripts can be too preachy, and then you have those that I need to get that detail across, and that's why I try to make sure I do the script. Now, like I said, I have a teleprompter that's on my screen. I'm going to share that teleprompter. Let me pull it up. Let me see. Where I want to go to? Wrong button. I want to go to my desktop. And let me see. I'm going to do a presentation. Okay, this is one I read today. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you guys the teleprompter I use. Okay, so here's my teleprompter that I use. I put my script on here, and I have it set at the speed that I want to read it at, and I just read. And as it comes up on the screen, I'm looking at the teleprompter is right under my camera. Of course, I don't have it this wide. I shrink it where it's under my camera and the center of my screen. I move it at the center of my screen, and then it rolls and I'm reading to you guys as it goes by. So I downloaded this off the internet. I downloaded this teleprompter. I found the app for it. Let's see. Thank you, Denise. Stephanie, you know me. I have a teleprompter that I have had. What? 5 years? Denise. Denise. Is it the one that fixed over the camera? Is that the one you have? Or is it the one that's attached to you can attach to your computer or your laptop? Because if it's the one you hook onto your computer, I mean onto your camera, you put your script on your tablet and you lay it in a tray and it kind of like mirrors it. That's the one I've been looking at to go on my computer. But I only use my script when I do for YouTube tips and more and for healthy tips and more. And I do that here on the computer. That's why I found that one that I use. I did want the one that you hook onto your camera, but when I found this one here that's free, I prefer free. But it does help me a lot with the teleprompter because prior to, I'm always looking at the paper, reading the paper, looking at the paper, looking at the points, looking at the paper. This way, it's right here on the screen. So when I'm reading it, I'm right here under the camera. So I'm looking at you while I'm reading. And I like that. And it makes things a little bit easier for me when I do a lesson, when I go over and do a presentation to you guys over whatever I'm talking about here on YouTube Tips and More or on Healthy Tips and More, where I'm talking about perimenopause, understanding perimenopause and menopause. Now, that show is on Wednesday nights, guys, at 5:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. What did you say? Just curious, I personally like to watch videos where the host is personable. The personality draws me in the first. Yeah, that's why I try to make my teleprompter conversations just a little bit more um personable. I don't, I read, but then I do add in. No, it's attached to the iPad or laptop. Yes, it does some kind of mirroring thing. I film in the kitchen, so it's hard to set up. I could film so much more quickly if it. Yeah, we need to figure that out for you, Denise. We need to figure that out. I looked at that one too, the one that attaches to the front of the computer. I'm gonna look that up. Let me see. Teleprompter for computer monitors. We need to get that set up for you to make it so much easier, especially the mic when you're doing your live with Leona on is that Wednesdays when y'all live. I think your mic would be a big improvement. I can hear you, but I know that you have that mic, and that's where I be harming in on. Why does Denise not wear her mic? But we're gonna get you set up because it's not as hard as you think to get the teleprompter. Now with my teleprompter, Denise, let me pull it back up. Let me lay this down. Let me share my screen. Now, Denise, with my teleprompter, I go in and I copy whatever I'm reading my script. I put the title here and I put whatever I'm going to read here. And then once I type it in, I put present and it goes here. So it makes it so much easier for me when I'm doing the lesson. It will be good when I'm filming my course content. Yes, I have to repeat things several times to get it right. Yeah, it would be very helpful. You could put everything there and have it set up. So we need to talk sometime this week. So text me. I'll let you know my schedule because I know Monday, I know Tuesday I'm gonna be busy. Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, my husband has an appointment. So does my dad. My dad has an appointment. on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. And I know Tuesday I'll be busy all day. So either Monday or Thursday evening, you can call me and we can work on getting something, get your mic set up at least. Sorry, sis, I've yet to catch the menopause show lately. I'm on the highway during that time with tunnel vision, yes, of my girl. You know how bad this girl. Yes, I know this traffic up here will have your nerves aroused. Trust me. When my husband has to be at the doctor's appointment downtown medical center, and his appointment's at 9 o'clock, we have to leave here at 7:30. We have to leave out the house and be in the car on the road by 7:30 to get him to his appointment. Let's see, when you write out your scripts on your teleprompter, break the writing up. It's too close together and hard. Yeah, I do. On there, when I get ready to read it, I put my spaces in where I need to pause at and I can see what it is. Because when I'm reading it, then I have that time to breathe to get to the next section. I do break it up. I'm getting better at it, Denise. The first time I had it, was just all together, and I really had to slow it down so I could read it and not choke myself. But I'm really trying to improve on my script writing and getting on the teleprompter and reading my scripts for Creatively Miss Me, YouTube Tips and More, and Creatively Miss Me, Healthy Tips and More, because I'm going through perimenopause. And when I found out everything is going on with it, and a lot of other women were wondering what the crap is going on. Yeah, I said, okay, what I'm learning, I need to share. Because I saw a lady the other day on Instagram, and she was saying people think that perimenopause is not real and the symptoms that women go through. And she was saying how real it was because she was going through perimenopause. And she said she left her house and she's going to get her hair done. And when she got to the beauty salon, she happened to look down and she realized she didn't have on any shoes. She drove from her house, walked out of her house on the hot cement, got in her car, drove downtown to wherever her appointment was, got out of her car, and was walking across the parking lot. And when she got close to the door of where she was getting her hair done, the door before her door, she noticed she didn't have on any shoes. So perimenopause is real. So that's why I wanted to do understanding perimenopause and menopause on my third channel. Now, I've been on here for almost an hour. So I know my husband is downstairs and he hasn't been feeling too well and he's only been eating soup. So I need to go down and make sure that he has his chicken soup so he can eat that to at least have something in his stomach. And I need to fix me something to eat. And I've been contemplating all day what I'm going to cook. But I'm going to cook something with shrimp because that's what I got a taste for. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight and the questions asked. I really appreciate you guys. You just don't know. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I want to thank the people in the replay because your replay always do a girl good. I appreciate everyone that comes to watch me and hear me babble and share the stuff that I've learned on here. Hopefully, just I help one person, it does me good. What do you say? Post it is a beast. Yes. I post the menopause and perimenopause in the community tabs on my main channel and on Healthy Tips and More. And I try to get it all done. But I'm going to get off here and stop babbling. And I'm going to go cook dinner. And hopefully I will see some of you on Wednesday. And if not, catch the replay. We're going to talk about, I think we're talking about night sweats, I think, this week. So I will see you then. What does Denise say? Haha, I make shrimp and grits for the 4th. Thank you all. You do. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate it. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for being here for me. Again, thank you in the replay. I love you guys.